it's the 1985 Maxim Women's International Bowling Congress Queens Tournament. Oh, it's a live crowd of bowling fans here in the Glass City, the All-American city, Toledo, Ohio. Hi, everybody. I'm Dwayne Dow for the 1985 Queens. This is the 25th edition, and what tremendous thrills have unfolded over the years in this great championship. You know, there are 3.8 million women bowlers in America. Joining me now is one of the top women bowlers as far as perfection is concerned, Jeannie Maiden, who's rolled 9 sanctioned 300 games in the Guinness World Book of Records. Jeannie, good to have you with us on the commentary. You've bowled in this year's Queens. How do you see the championship?
Yes, Dwayne, I bowled here in the Queens this week. I qualified 10th. I feel it's a very difficult shot out there. I feel that most of the bowlers have to either play outside of the track area, which is the worn area on the lanes, 11 or 12, or deeper inside between 15 and 20. And I feel we're going to have a great show today.
Well, there are 5 bowlers who really have survived this grueling competition, match play, elimination. And now, what do you think we might see when the action unfolds as a tip-off as to who might wind up with that tiara, the crown symbolic of the championship?
Well, Dwayne, this is the most prestigious women's tournament in the world, and I feel the person out there who can make their shots, stay calm, and execute each shot properly is going to have the best chance to win. Whether it's a left-hander or a right-hander, I feel the shot out there today is pretty consistent for both sides.
Hey, this crowd is revved up. What a great bowling city.
I think so. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, outside of Cleveland, so I'm not too far away, and I think Toledo's a great town.
All right. And we'll be back to check out the lineup in the Maxim Women's International Bowling Congress Queens Finals. Stand by. Dwayne Dow with Jeannie Maiden, and now from this historic bowling center that has seen so many thrills, both men and women's competition over the years, let's take a look at the finals of the Women's International Bowling Congress Maxim Queens Tournament. In 5th place, no stranger, Pat Costello. Jeannie?
She's no stranger to me. She's one of the toughest match play bowlers out on tour. She's had some hand problems this week, but it's not going to affect her today, she said. So Pat's going to be very tough out there.
Now, her first match opponent is a woman from Liverpool, New York. Her name is Jeanette Adams.
Jeanette, I talked to her briefly this morning. She seems to be quite cool about the whole situation, and she has no aspirations of becoming a professional bowler. This is the best she's ever bowled in the Queen. She's made the cut before, and I think even though she's left-handed, she says she has a good strike shot.
All right, and qualifying 3rd is a Japanese woman, Shinobu Saito, and Jeannie, Japanese women have captured this championship 3 of the last 4 years.
Exactly, Dwayne. Shinobu is no stranger to our tour, no stranger to this country. She's ranked as one of the top women bowlers in the world, up there with Sill, and she's great to watch. She's a professional, and she's very much of a pleasure to watch.
All right, lovely woman. And speaking of glamour and speaking of athletic ability, 2nd place, the great player from Cocoa, Florida, Sill.
Sill. She's 1983 Queens champion. She's been she was runner-up last year in this event. She's very experienced, especially in this tournament. She doesn't feel the pressure. She's very capable of winning this tournament again.
All right, and the tournament leader and an upset that this woman emerged as number 1, Linda Graham, an unknown out of Des Moines, Iowa.
I talked to Linda last night, and Linda and I had a very nice conversation. She had one of the reasons why she's top seed is because she played the track area on the lanes, which is around 11 and 12, which is the warm part of the lane yesterday, and she just could not miss the pocket. She bowled great. She feels very little pressure. She's not concerned about the money. She wants the title.
Well, she's 1 game away from real fame to be in that record book as the Queen's champion.
That's
All right, now here we go. Match number 1. Pat Costello on the right from St. Helena, California. battling Jeanette Adams from the other side of the United States, Liverpool, New York. It's near Syracuse in central New York. And Jeanette Adams will throw the first shot of the Maxim Women's International Bowling Congress Queens Finals. Stay with us. This major competition in women's sports in America. Jeanette Adams, slow roll. Oh, leaving the 6.
Dwayne, she looked like she lost a little bit of leverage on that shot. She fell off the shot, but for her first ball, it was pretty good.
A non-professional. She has had 720 as her high series ever. Never a 300. Trying to pick up the spare to start with a mark.
Okay, she filled that frame. That's pretty good for someone who's never bowled under television pressure. Today, I think one of the advantages of each of the bowlers, we have a lot of surfaces of bowling balls. Now, Pat, she used plastic all week, and now today she's using a urethane bowling ball.
Pat Costello, first frame, trying to start her finals, rolling with a pocket hit, but a split the 4-7-10. She was a bit high.
Just a bit. She didn't trust that shot as well as she would have liked to. She pulled it inside the hip line a little bit, and unfortunately she has a split. It's very easy. It's not a very easy split to pick up, but she's going to give it her best shot.
Many titles over the years, and going open in the first frame. So we have Adams leading at the end of one frame, and Costello will go to the adjacent lane in this beautiful bowling center that has 64 lanes. And the host to this year's Women's International Bowling Congress National Championship Tournament that has preceded the Queens and will continue after the Queens ends. This Queens Championship is for the elite of women bowlers in America. A shaking strike for Pat Costello.
Exactly. That was a great shot on Pat's part. I'd like to let you know that Pat used plastic most of the week and was playing inside between 15 and 20. And today she's outside with the urethane bowling ball, which could be an advantage to her because the farther right you play, the more you can carry.
Jeanette Adams, the left-hander.
That was a great shot on Jeanette's part. She still is losing a little bit of leverage. I don't think she's settled quite down because of the television that she's never bowled on TV before. She's doing quite well, Dwayne, don't you think?
She certainly is. And she has to be a little intimidated bowling. And I'm not going to use this word loosely, but Pat Costello is regarded as a great woman pro. Man, what a solid hit. She is really warming to the occasion with the first double of the match.
Right, Dwayne. As I said earlier before, I felt that the lanes could be equal on both sides. But throughout the whole tournament, the right-handers had a little bit of a difficult playing. On 25 and 26, it was rather low scoring. But for the left-handers, they had a better surface.
Well, very interesting. Let's see what unfolds here with Pat Costello going for a double. She's down by 21 pins. She has a bit of a loft and a light hit, leaving the bucket, the 2-4-5-8.
All right, Dwayne, she started moving that ball a little bit too early in her ball placement today. She seemed to move that ball in her first step. And Pat's a 5-step bowler, and we don't, one of the most crucial things in bowling with the 5-step bowler is that you don't want to move that ball in the first step. That was a great cover by Pat. That was one of the toughest spares in the tournament to pick up this week because you didn't know of the type of oil pattern. Sometimes the oil would make the ball slide out, and some of the lanes, the friction was so high that the ball would overreact. But Pat made a good cover there.
All right, now Pat Costello coming off a spare in the fourth frame. Stepping back. What happened there?
Dwayne, the cameraman moved out on the lanes, I believe.
Oh, those cameramen. They're always doing that. They can disturb your concentration, though, can't it?
Yes, it can. I know from my experience on television, sometimes, we have photographers out there, and the clicking sound will distract the bowlers.
What a perfect shot, and you got a great view of it.
So important, Dwayne. That was a great shot on Pat's part. That was she executed.
Let's take another look at that before we take a look at the left-hander.
Her hand went through that ball so well. Dwayne, when she hit the ball, her hand, you could see her hand move quite quickly through the ball, which is very important in this condition.
Sweet spot in time, right?
Exactly.
And a bit of a light hit and a 5-10 split for Jeanette Adams out of Liverpool, New York. Now, we have both of these women in their mid-30s. Jeanette is 36 years old. Pat Costello is 38. We mentioned earlier at the beginning of our telecast the excellent crowd, and this crowd, really, bowling fans, male and female, watching this great competition.
No, Dwayne, on both shots there, she got the ball down too quick, and her hand rotated about quite around the ball. She did not stay behind the ball, and that's very critical, especially in this house. You must keep the hand behind the ball.
All right, Adams' lead now is down to 5 pins after that open frame. Now, here's how we stand. Jeanette Adams is 74 pins through the fourth and open after that split in the fourth frame. Costello is 49 pins through the third, working on a strike. So Adams, after getting a double and then going open, will try to improve here in the fifth frame. From the outside. Coming in high, but down go the 6 and 10 with the others.
Dwayne, that was a pretty good shot on Jeanette's part. She got away with that shot a little bit. She got the ball inside the hip line a little bit, and she tugged it, and she consequently tripped the 6 pin on that.
Well, looks like she's not going to be too much intimidated by this great veteran professional, Pat Costello. There are 2 Costellos in women's bowling who are pretty hard to choose between them. They're both excellent players. Patty Costello out of Pennsylvania, and Pat here out of California. And Pat comes in Brooklyn, leaving the 6.
Okay, she's trying to play the track area out there, Dwayne, and she got that ball inside the hip line a little bit. You've got to trust the ball here because the back ends do finish quite a bit.
Over 40,000 women have taken part in the regular phase of the Women's International Bowling Congress Tournament, a tournament open to every woman league bowler in America. What a great championship, and they came to Toledo to compete. And a spare for Pat Costello, and we have a real race here. Adams is 74 through the fourth, strike in the fifth. Costello, 69 in the fourth, and a spare in the fifth. So Adams leading by 5 right now.
Pat seems to be talking to herself at the present time.
Here we are now. She looks around. She looks to the right. She looks down. You know, there's a lot of money at stake here. This is $20,000 first prize, whereas the loser of this match will make $3,500. So the winner of this match obviously has sights on going up that stepladder, right? And battling for the championship.
Exactly. Dwayne, you only have 10 frames out there, and you don't want to lose any frames. You want to make the best shot each frame you can.
6th frame, Costello. Oh, what a strong shot.
That was a great shot on Pat's part. I think she'd prefer the ball on lane 25, but I'm sure she'll get lined up on.
Let's take another look at it. Slow motion.
Pat's got one of the greatest hand releases out on our tour. She gets the hand through the ball all the time, digging out that 10.
But now, Jeanette Adams has a chance to take the lead if she doubles here in the 6th frame. Good roll. Comes in high, though. 2-4-7.
That was not a bad ball on Jeanette's part. She just got that ball inside her hip line a little bit. She broke up the split, but she's still losing a lot of leverage. She's getting...
Fortunately, she's working on a strike, so she does not lose count.
Right. Okay, see, she had a pretty good hand on that one. That's why she didn't leave the 10 pin.
Trying to
but
pick
she's
up a
still
spare.
losing leverage.
Oh, that is what could, in the end analysis, be a crucial miss because she is open now 2 of the last 3 frames.
That's right, and you do not want to let Pat Costello get the advantage on you know, take the advantage. She's going to take the advantage right, you know, her next shot.
Adams is trailing for the first time in the match. She's 97 pins and open through 6. 7th frame.
That was a good comeback. That was a great shot on Jeanette Adams' part.
Costello 89 pins through the 5th on a strike. Her lead could go to 21 pins if she strikes on this next shot. Let's take another look at that strike hit by Jeanette Adams.
Right. This time she had the leverage at the line. She didn't fall off balance. She got her hand right through the ball. It was a great shot. That's the best shot she made this game.
Costello trying to double. She's outside the pocket, and that kind of brings Adams back in the match, or could, because it's the washout, the 1-2-10, and you've faced so many of these in your career.
That's right. I faced quite a few of them this week, especially in the match that I lost. I left like 4 of them in one game. Pat turned the ball too soon. She got the ball down quick. You get the ball too far to the right on this pair on lane 26. It's not going to come back because of the oil.
Let's see what she does. Trying to convert the spare. 7th frame. Oh, went right around the 10-pin.
That was a great shot. She really went for that shot.
So now, as we take a look at Pat Costello trying to convert the washout.
Now, Dwayne, she's using a plastic ball for her spare. That was a good shot. You know, she could have had that. She's using a plastic ball for her spares, and she's using a urethane ball for her first shot.
Right now, Costello trails by 1. She is 117 to the 7th and open as she bowls in the 8th.
Okay, she's got that left lane down. She's got lane 25 down. She's got to realign herself up on lane 26.
Now Adams can jump out to a decisive lead if she should strike in the 8th frame. We look at Costello's strike.
Right. She's lined up on lane 25. She's just got to get it together on 26. She's got to make a move out there.
Excellent match. Adams, who earlier doubled, trying to double here in the 8th.
And
baby split.
That's right. They both seem to be having problems with the right lane. Jeanette pulled that ball inside her hip again. She's got to start trusting the ball a little bit.
She needs to convert the spare to retain the lead.
It's a difficult spare here, especially for the left side too. And she did it. Great shot. We got a close one here.
Both players on marks as we head to the 9th frame, Jeannie.
She really played that shot well. She trusted that ball to make that spare. She knew she needed it. It was a great shot, Dwayne.
I think you made a nice comment there. She trusted the ball to make the shot.
You've got to keep that ball outside the hip line. You know, you get it, you pull it. Every bowler has a tendency to pull the ball inside the hip line.
Adams, 9th frame, ahead by a pin, but she was wide of the pocket and left the head pin. And the 3. Now Adams is 136 through the 8th with an 8 count in the 9th. Costello 117 to the 7th, the strike up in the 8th. And this is going to come down to just a handful of pins to see who's going to settle for $3,500 5th place and who has a chance for $20,000 in the championship.
That was a good shot. She made a good cover there. Jeanette's going to have to make a little adjustment on that left lane for herself.
And so up comes Costello, leading by a pin, with a chance to extend the lead out to 11. What a big shot, maybe the biggest shot in the match for Pat here in the 9th frame.
That was a great shot. Even though she felt, she got her hand through that shot, Dwayne. You know, she realigned herself a little bit better on that lane, and she trusted the ball. Plus, she's finishing on her good lane, so she should feel pretty confident going into the 10th. It's going to be a big frame for her.
So she is in the position of being able to close Adams out with another couple of strikes here. As she's on a double, neither woman has a turkey as yet, but here in the 10th, first ball, Costello can do it.
Come on.
2-4-5, and at the last instant, You saw the 5-pin fall.
Right. She got a little hard that shot, Dwayne, and you see, okay. She was a little hard in her release with that. She didn't wait for the shot to come down. She just kind of hit the ball too soon, and that's why the ball skated a little bit on her.
That 5-pin eventually fell.
That made it easier for her.
And so she has the 2-4 to convert in the 10th.
Mm.
She has been lofting the ball a bit.
Right, this condition out here this week has a tendency to make you loft the ball, to get the ball, because you want the ball to go long, because these lanes in the back ends, they hook tremendously, so you want the ball to go as long as you can.
Last shot. She'll be looking for every possible pin here.
Come on, oh, great shot. She really got her hand through that ball.
All right, so Costello with 182, and here's where we stand as we look at the replay, Jeannie.
She got such great extension on that shot, Dwayne, and she just tripped the 4, and you know, that was a relatively a high hit, but her hand position on that shot was great.
Now Adams needs at least 2 strikes in a row here in the 10th to stay alive, and that means that Costello has won the match. So Jeanette Adams, a relatively unknown in bowling circles as far as national competition is concerned, really did a job to push Pat Costello right to the 10th frame and led for much of the match.
Exactly. Jeanette made a few, mistakes, which you can't afford to do on television.
Well, if she strikes in the final ball, she would have a 174. Costello has bowled 182. It did come down to just a handful of pins. You can go back and dissect this match, and a lot of things might have turned it the other way.
Exactly. You can't always go back, Dwayne. You can always go back and look, but you can't redo it.
So she had a 6 count on her last shot. It was Costello 182, Adams 170. Pat Costello wins it 182 to 170, and now advances to the next match in these Queens finals. Exciting action. We are hoping that you're enjoying the action, and we'll be back with the president of the Women's International Bowling Congress, Helen Baker, right after this. So we're back to action now in match number 2 of the Maxim Women's International Bowling Congress Queens Tournament Finals here in Toledo, Ohio. Pat Costello, who won her first match over Jeanette Adams 182 to 170, forcing Adams into 5th place and a $3,500 check, will now take on former United States Open champion, lovely woman out of Japan, Shinobu Saito. Japanese women have won this Queens tournament, Jeannie, 3 times in the last 4 years. Saito has yet to win it, but she's a threat.
You're so right, Dwayne. She's a threat. She's like a perfectionist out here.
Japanese are known for being perfectionist and the pursuit of perfection, and that strike sure looked perfect to me.
Right, that's a great shot. She stays very low at the line. She's very. Take a look at this replay. She lost leverage on that shot. She also fell off the shot, but yet she kept her hand right through the ball. It was a great shot.
Now the first shot of the second match for Costello, and she leaves a 10 that was not going anywhere.
That's right. That ball looked like it came off the front of her hand a little bit. What I mean there, Dwayne, she didn't get her hand quite through the ball.
Winner of this match will take on Alita Sill, the 1984 Woman Bowler of the Year in the United States, and confidently picking up the 10-pin spare. So at the end of one frame, Saito and Costello are even. Quite a contrast in physiques as well as styles, wouldn't you say?
Oh, most definitely. You have Pat Costello's a little bit more, she has more of a powerful ball, when Shinobu is really soft with the ball and lets the lane take the ball into the pocket.
Should be a very interesting match. Costello on a spare in the second frame as she brings it in, and they all topple, but not the 4 pin.
Pat's being a little bit too hard with the ball on the show. She's got to let the ball come down. She's kind of forcing the ball, sticking the ball in the pocket. She's got to get the ball into a little bit earlier of a roll.
Over many championships, this woman from California, Pat Costello, has never won the Queens. And you know that she would love to add this title to her list of accomplishments.
That's right. She's been stuck on 13 titles for 4 years, and she told me early that she'd like to change that.
Now Shinobu Saito, out of Japan, from Tokyo, 36 years old, a Japanese professional bowler. 40 pro titles in Japan, Jeannie. 40. What a nice style. What a shot. A double.
That's right. She's gonna be tough out here, Dwayne. Dwayne, she's playing outside the track area, and where she's played all week long. Not all week, but she moved out there in the middle of match play, I believe, and she started scoring very well. She's using a urethane bowling ball. She's being very soft with the ball and letting the lane take the ball into the pocket.
The top qualifier at the end of 8 games was Susan Meyer of Alexandria, Minnesota, who was eliminated during the match play phase of the tournament. Another strike for Saito, a turkey.
She looks tough out there. She's bowling pretty well. These girls aren't getting the leverage at the line that they should, Dwayne. We've had a little bit of problems with the approaches this week. That was a great shot. Saito has a great hand.
Costello looking for her first strike. She's trailing by 21 pins in the 3rd frame.
Dwayne,
She'll take the Brooklyn.
That's right, she will.
Look at that react.
She really likes that. She likes to play with the audience out there. She wants to get them on her side. She's a great person to watch bowl. She got that ball inside the track area. She didn't trust it. That right lane is giving Pat a little bit of a problem.
If around the United States, you know people who like great sports action, and they're bowling fans, and they can't get enough of it on television, just call them up right now and have them tune us in. This is the big one for the women, the Queens, as Costello left the 6-10.
That was a pretty good shot for Pat. She took out the left side. She got her hand through the ball. She had good hand position on that ball. She might want to make a little bit of an adjustment on that lane. The lanes here have a tendency to break down a little bit.
Costello trailing. Just trying to stay in the match now against red-hot Shinobu Saito. And Pat coming up with the spare. She narrowly averted a chop there in the 4th frame, so Costello is 59 pins through the 3rd and a strike in the 4th. Saito struck in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and now is trying for a 4-bagger here in the 4th. She has a lead that she'd like to expand with this shot. She's 21 pins ahead, as you see, the woman from Tokyo.
She's such a great bowler. Great shot.
She is locked in right now.
You're right. She just looks like she's locked in practice. She's got a very... Take a look at that again. The ball coming in the pocket. That was a great shot. She got the axis tilted pretty much that time, Dwayne. And what I mean by that, she's got a good hand. She puts her hand right through the ball to take the pins out. The people who go to the bank on the men's tour and on the women's tour are people who trip the 4s and dig out the 10s.
And going for 5 in a row, but leaving the 7 pin. So there is a ray of light for Pat Costello as Saito's run of strikes ends at 4, and in the 5th frame, she leaves the 7 pin. Last year's winner, Kazue Inahashi from Japan, beat Alita Sill for the championship. Inahashi was in the match play phase of this year's tournament before bowing.
Right. Okay. That's a good cover. Saito's going to be pretty tough this match. She looks like Pat's got to get herself lined up on the right lane.
Right now, Costello trails by 30 pins in the 5th frame. Costello 59 through the 3rd, spare up in the 4th. Saito 109 through the 4th, spare up in the 5th. Costello working on a spare here in the 5th frame, lofting the ball. Striking!
Oh, great shot, Dwayne. She moved a little bit. see a replay on that. She moved a little bit more inside with her, made a little adjustment there, and it paid off. Because the last shot she threw over there, she carried to Brooklyn. It was a pretty good shot. She just had to make a lane adjustment.
After qualifying, the women battled each other in 4-game matches. If you lost one, you went to the loser's bracket. You couldn't afford another loss. If you lost twice, you were gone. That was until the position round last night. And how did that happen? Up popped the Goblin, the 4-9.
Dwayne, her hand came around that ball just a little bit. She didn't stay quite behind the ball like she should have. And that's the reason why she left the 4-9. She tripped it out on lane 26, but she didn't do it on lane 25.
Very difficult split.
Very difficult.
6th frame for Costello. Going for it. Going for it!
Oh, great shot. She's really...
They love that in Toledo. Jeannie, it's all yours, my friend.
Okay, she played that shot great. She went after it. And that's what you have to do in a 1-game match. You've got to go after your splits. That was great. She played that very well, and that's not an easy split in this house to cover.
Well, she knew if she was going to have any chance to win, she had to convert that spare. Now, Saito on a spare. Leading by 30. 6th frame. Oh, what a solid shot.
Saito's pretty well lined up. She's just bowling great. You know, she's making her shots, taking it 1 frame at a time.
Saito 129 through the 5th, strike in the 6th. Costello 99 through the 5th, spare in the 6th. These 5 women on our finals of the Maxim WIBC Queens are the survivors of 8 games of qualifying and then many, sometimes brutal 4-game matches. Knock down, drag out. Saito trying for a double. This time she left double wood. She left the 3-9 in addition to the 10-pin.
Dwayne, she did not make a good shot there. She got the ball inside her hip line, which caused her to turn the ball too soon. And it was not a very good shot. It seemed like she kind of rushed that shot in the stance. She didn't take as much time.
Well, moments ago, we saw Pat Costello convert a tough spare, the 4-9. Now, a very tough spare. The baby split with company, as they call it. Let's watch.
What can I say? They're bowling great out here. That was a great shot. She's a very accurate bowler. See that again.
She does not want to surrender that 30-pin lead.
I don't blame her. Oh, look at... It's a real good way it should be made.
Costello responding and doggedly stays within 30 pins. Saito 149 through the 6th, spare in the 7th. Pat Costello 119 through the 6th, strike in the 7th. Costello now, big shot coming, 8th frame. If she strikes, she can narrow the Japanese woman's lead to 20 pins. No, she went Brooklyn and left the 6-10. Saito watching, eyeing the scoreboard. She knows those American dollars will be nice to take home. Routinely picking up the spare. Well, is it the calm before the storm, or will Saito hold on and keep her lead right through the finish? We'll see. Saito 149 through the 6th, spare up. Costello 139 through the 7th, spare up. Saito 149 through the 6th, spare up, and hoping to strike in the 8th. She has 5 strikes in the first 7 frames. But no, light there. The front pin topples, and the 5-8 remain.
All right, Dwayne, she's getting the ball down. She's coming around the ball. She knows that she came around that ball. She didn't stay quite behind the ball like she intends to do. Saito's bowled the most match play games out here. I believe she's bowled 24.
Well, She's won 9 and lost 1 in her total matches. She had an early loss that put her in the loser's bracket.
Right.
And that's roughing it when you have to come out of the loser's bracket to win this Maxim the Women's International Bowling Congress Queens competition. Because once you lose an early match, you've got to bowl almost twice as many to get back on the show.
You're exactly true. You're in the bowling center all day bowling.
That's the voice of experience. After you qualified 10th, Jeannie Maiden.
And I won my first match, then I lost my second. Then I was in the bowl for about another 6 hours.
Well, you gave it a great shot. Won your first title last fall. And here the baby split for Saito. So this is interesting. Now, moments ago, she converted the 3-9-10. So let's see what she does with the 3-10. And this could be the opening that Costello needs in the 9th frame. Saito has shown that great precision. Her lead is down a couple of pins, as you see. Now she's talking to herself.
She, last shot, she just seemed to be rushing her swing. She's got to let the ball come down and let the lane take it in. The way she's very accurate. Looking at one of the...
Jeannie, we have seen 3 splits, all of them difficult, all of them converted in the second match of the Queens.
That's why they're called professionals, Dwayne. They practice.
Costello not letting up. She has no other option but to string the strikes. Now here's where we stand. Saito, 185 in the 8th, spare up. Costello, 159 in the 8th, strike up. Right now, it is Costello trailing by 26. She has to continue to strike here in the 10th frame and let the chips fall where they may.
Giving it a little bit more time.
She was, she was too high, but they went down.
But they went. She needs the next one here to stay in the match. Watch this shot again, Dwayne. She really got her hand through the ball. She threw maximum ball there that time.
Now bear in mind, the loser of this match will make $5,000. The winner will make no less than $7,000 and have a shot at the championship and $20,000. Second ball, 10th frame.
Oh, great shot. I mean, she's just coming back in the 10th. She's on her good lane, Dwayne, and she really trusted that. She's just bowling phenomenal in the 10th.
So she entered the 10th frame trailing by 26 pins. Right now, she is 6 pins behind, approaching her final shot in the 10th frame, trying for a 4-bagger. Left the 4. What a finish. 218 for Pat Costello. And that leaves it up to Saito. Saito must pick up a spare or strike here in the 10th. Now she is 185 through the 8th, spare in the 9th. Costello wound up with a 218. Saito, you know she wants to avert a split at all costs with this shot. Now, Jeannie, you've been there before, Pat, because I've done the tournaments on television where you've seen that single 3-pin, and a couple of times a failure to convert that single pin left you in the bridesmaid spot and not the championship. So you know the pressure this woman faces on this shot.
Exactly, Dwayne. She has to make this to go on. The oil patterns out here, spares have been very difficult to convert. But with Saito, she's great. She's a good bowler, and she's a very good spare bowler.
And so Pat Costello gave it a tremendous battle. She closed hard. She pushed Shinobu Saito right into the 10th frame. But now Saito has not clinched victory yet. She must knock down 5 pins on this shot, so let's not put her in the winner's circle yet. She can't foul. She must get 5 pins, and she has them, and more. So Shinobu Saito out of Tokyo, Japan. And one of the finest matches I think you'll ever see in women's bowling, with 3 notable split conversions, a total of 3 by the 2 players. Saito defeats Pat Costello of California, 224 to 218. Costello finished 4th, earned $5,000, and now Saito will face the 1984 Woman Bowler of the Year in the United States, the Queens runner-up a year ago, Alita Sill. Great action is coming. Stay with us. We'll be back after this.
That was a good match.
American City, where there's a familiar golf course name that hits the wire services around America, Inverness, where they've had many great championships. We're here at Imperial Lanes in Toledo. Earl Anthony, by winning the PBA National Championship, went over $1 million in career earnings, first man to do it. And speaking of firsts, here's the first woman ever to pass $80,000 in earnings for a single year, Alita Sill, who won this great championship 2 years ago, who was runner-up last year. Now her first ball of the 1985 Queens Finals. And she kicked them all out with the exception of the 3-pin, Jeannie Maiden.
Dwayne, that was a great shot at coming out of the gate for Alita. Her hand was just a little slow coming through the shot. She didn't hit that ball quite well.
Last year, Alita Sill lost the championship to another Japanese player, Kazue Inahashi, in a tremendous match. And here she starts with a spare. And we'd like to talk about Mr. Robin Austin, from Marketing Corporation of America, who got Maxim Coffee and Women's International Bowling Congress together for this great championship.
That was a great shot on Alita's part. She had good extension on her spare, and she was pretty well lined up on lane 25.
Now the lovely woman with the classic looks from Tokyo, Shinobu Saito. And she has not lost an inch of that concentration.
No, not at all. She concentrates. She executes every shot to perfection as well as she can. She's bowling extremely well. She is considered, we have the top 2 ranked women bowlers in the world bowling each other at the present time.
Saito trying for a double in her victory over Pat Costello, 224 to 218. She started with a 4-bagger. Here she's high and left the 3-6-10.
She lost leverage on that shot, Dwayne. She started getting the ball moving a little. She carried that ball a little bit longer in her stance, and consequently she tugged the ball a little bit. You've got to trust the ball.
All right, so she'll try to pick up what occasionally can be a tough spare.
Especially in this house, Dwayne, going across the lane because of the oil pattern, the ball will sometimes skate or hook early due to the oil. I don't think she planned on shooting it that way. I think the lane the ball hooked a little early for her.
Could have been a chop, but wound up a spare. So Saito has 20 pins in the first and a spare up. And now Alita Sill needs a strike to keep the match even in the second frame. Originally out of the Detroit, Michigan area. Got married a couple of years ago after winning the Queens. And she and her husband Dave down in Florida in the bowling business. And Alita falls a couple of pins behind and has the 9-10 split. And she is a little unhappy about that.
Right. I would be too. She's getting the ball down too quickly in her ball placement. She's moving the ball too soon. So she's not getting the ball up in her hand. So consequently, she's not hitting the ball very well.
22 years of age, by far the youngest woman in the finals. And picking it up.
Great shot.
Hey, what's the record for most consecutive conversions of splits? We've had 4 in a row.
Let them keep going. Dwayne, that's what I said before. We're professionals, and we have to make those adjustments. Like I said before, you have to go for every pin out here. It's a one-game match.
In the audience, watching from General Foods, the Maxim Parent Corporation. We'll get a chance to mention a few of these names after this shot as we watch Alita Sill. Oh, and a gaping 7-9 railroad. We have Steve Bachler, Marie Smith, Bob Stamley, Evelyn Holt, and Christine Pepe, all from General Foods out of White Plains, New York, and Maxim Coffee.
That was not totally a bad shot on Alita's part. I've noticed that she also made another ball change out here from what she's been using all week.
So Alita Sill is 45 pins through the third and open. Shinobu Saito is 20 pins in the first and a spare up in the second. And here's Saito in the third frame, and she is on top. She's trying to become the 4th Japanese champion in the last 5 years in this, what amounts to international competition. What a feather touch, and the 2-8.
You could see on that shot, Dwayne, that she came way around the ball. Her hand wasn't behind the ball, and she seems to be putting a little bit of pressure on.
Boy, she's made some money over in Japan. Those are American dollars, I take it?
I take it is. She has both. She's won 40 titles. She's their top bowler from Japan.
A couple of other women, Kazue Inahashi, last year's Queens champion, and Katsuko Sugimoto, who won this championship 2 years in a row, also very good. Boy, this spare making, Jeannie Maiden, it's just been phenomenal.
I wish my spare making this week was as good, Dwayne. That is anything on the left side for these right-handers, you know,
Well, she keeps that same expression for most of the competition. And now, Saito on a spare in the fourth, leading by 13 pins. Third match. Another double wood, the identical spare that she confronted and converted the previous frame, the 2-8.
Right, Dwayne, that ball looks like it's coming off the front of her hand somewhat. She's not getting the ball up in her hand so she can hit the ball. She's got to make a little adjustment. She's moving the ball a little too soon in her swing. She's a 4-step bowler, and she moves the ball in her first step, and she's getting the ball down a little too quickly sometimes.
Watching this woman bowl, Jeannie, it looks to me like she's been bowling almost all of her life for a lot of time since she was a youngster.
She can continue to bowl the rest of her life the way she bowls.
Another look at that spare. She makes it look so easy.
We don't get the greatest shot of Saito's swing here, but she does have a flare in the back of her swing. It goes away from her body.
And Sill trailing by 13 pins. And hits the left-hander's pocket. And so after a couple of spares and a 7-9 split, which led to an open frame, then a strike in the fourth for Alita Sill. Now, Sill is 45 through the third and a strike up. Saito 56 through the third and a spare up. Saito leading by 11. Alita can take the lead with a strike here in the fifth.
Great shot. She made a ball change there, Dwayne, which it was the right move. The reason why she left the 7-9 in the pocket before, because the ball didn't quite hit, didn't finish as well. She switched to another ball. She made a good ball change. It's so critical on this. Great extension. Great, just a perfect shot.
Now Saito, who finds herself trailing for the first time in the match and leaving the 10 pin. So this match is close midway through. Jeannie?
Okay, Saito on that shot made a little bit better of a shot, but she came around the ball, Dwayne. She's not hitting the ball as well. Her hand's turning, coming around to the side of the ball. It's very important, very crucial here to stay behind the ball, to carry the 10s and trip those 4s.
36 years old, out of Tokyo. And the routine conversion of the spare, and so we are halfway through this third match of the Maxim Women's International Bowling Congress Queens Finals. Sill with 45 through the third, working on a double. Saito 75 in the fourth and a spare.
on Saito's spare, she doesn't throw the ball like she does on her first shot. She's only knocking down one pin, so she doesn't have to throw as much ball. Okay.
Well, our scorekeeper, Jan Chase, mentions that she has pink shoestrings. Maybe that's a good luck charm, as I know many of you women pros like to go for that, any omen or any good luck charm that can put you in the victory circle. Look at that. Oh, aren't they something?
Dwayne will get you a pair since you like them.
I do like them. All right, here's Alita Sill. She's trying to jump out to a 10-pin lead right now. On a double. 6th frame for this great competitor. She was light. She left the 3-5, 6.
Dwayne, she's getting that ball down a little too quick in her ball placement. She's moving the ball too early in her first step, which is just causing her to come around the ball. See the ball that got down just a tad too quick.
Alita won her first 5 matches in the match play phase of the competition and lost to our tournament leader in her final match last night before these finals. And the winner of this match will take on the tournament leader, one Linda Graham out of Des Moines, Iowa, a virtual unknown who has been red hot this week. Now Alita Sill has gone ahead by 3 pins. She has 92 pins through the 5th and a spare in the 6th. Her opponent, Saito, 95 in the 5th, strike in the 6th. It's the 7th frame, and Sill on a spare. What a nice roll there, Jenny.
Oh,
what
great.
A beautiful roll.
That was a good shot. Alita executed that shot. Concentration. Excellent. She got through that ball very well. That's one of the greatest shots she's thrown this game.
And now Saito working on a strike. This match, which has been very close since Sill came back from a slow start with a double in the middle frames. Saito running that one out, and that widens her lead on a key double in the 6th and 7th frames. Shinobu leading by 13 pins. Classic good looks and just great precision, and this has to be the result of countless hours of practice, and it appears that she's been the benefit of some good coaching over in Japan.
Oh, most definitely. They have some tough bowlers from Japan who come over and compete.
Now she's going for a turkey here in the 8th frame. Tremendous degree of concentration. And another pocket hit.
That time, Dwayne, she really stayed with the shot. The shot before, she fell off the shot and she was losing leverage, but she stays with it. This is one of the best shots she's made all day. Look at her. She just stayed with the shot. Got her hand through the ball.
Still trailing by 23. Gets the strike she has to get, a double. And so now Alita has trimmed Saito's lead back down to 13 pins. We have Sill with 112 in the 6th, working on a double. Saito 95 in the 5th, working on a turkey. And now Sill. What a big shot coming up in the 9th, where she can knock that lead of Saito down to 3 pins. But she must strike on this shot in the 9th frame.
What a big break. I mean, Alita is making better shots as she goes through the game.
Both women have strung 3 strikes in a row.
She really got her hand through that shot. Dwayne, good extension for that pinned classic shot.
Boy, this is
as exciting as last
This
match.
is as exciting. We've been doing these for 3-4 years around the United States, and this is about the best action I think I've covered among these great women professional bowlers. who could be coming your way soon. Be sure you go out and see him. Oh, the big four, the big four. The only thing you can say about this on Saito's behalf, Jeannie, is that it's the 9th frame, not the 10th.
That's right, Dwayne. Dwayne, she made a very, very poor shot here. She just turned that ball too soon in her swing when she was ready to hit the ball. She just got the ball inside the hip line. And the ball overreacted on the back end. It's a big break for Alita.
So open for the first time in the match. For the first time in either match, as she had a couple of nice split conversions earlier in her victory over Pat Costello. Shinobu Saito now has 177 and open through 9 frames. Alita Sill, 142 in the 7th, working on a turkey. Saito in the 10th. Trailing by 15 pins. Must start to string those strikes to put the pressure on Alita. 10th frame, first ball. Lights and double wood, which she had converted twice earlier, but she did not need that at this particular time.
No, Dwayne, she really had to go out to punch out to put the pressure on Alita. Shinobu is not bowling as well today as she's bowled in match play this week.
So for the 3rd time in the match, she picks up that double wood spare and has a chance, if she can strike on her last shot, to shoot a 197. But Alita Sill is in the driver's seat. Last night, Alita Sill and our reigning tournament leader, Linda Graham, played for the right to be the top qualifier heading into these finals. Graham won that 4-game match. And now it appears they're going to have a rematch, 1 game for $20,000 first prize money, as Shinobu Saito.
Well, she went out with a good shot there, Dwayne, and all Alita needs to do here is mark.
A woman from Tokyo, 36 years old, single, possessor of 40 championships. Now Alita Sill, just on the verge of winning this match. If she picks up 9 pins on this shot, she'll advance to the championship match. That's it. That's enough.
She played that shot well, Dwayne. She didn't want to go heavy on the shot to leave a split. She played it light. I think she played it very well.
Indeed she did. And so, for the 3rd consecutive year, this woman's going to bowl in the championship match of the Queens. This year, the Maxim Women's International Bowling Congress Queens Tournament. And what a comeback. In the middle of the match, she was trailing by 23 pins before she mounted her charge.
That's right. She had that bad break in the 3rd frame, and she made a ball change there, which was really very beneficial to her. Made a good choice.
Well, what did she do precisely now?
I think she went to a ball that finishes a little bit better for her on the back end.
Urethane plastic, what?
She was using urethane the first 3 frames, and when she left the 7-9, I believe she switched to another urethane ball that grabbed the lane a little bit earlier, and finished a little bit stronger for her.
Well, you really have to know your equipment, obviously.
Especially in this tournament for the type of conditions we're bowling on. Excellent shot.
Alita Sill bowled 211 to Shinobu Saito's 197. Sill wins it 211 to 197, and for the 3rd year in a row will battle for the championship of the Queens. We'll be back at famed Imperial Lanes in Toledo, Ohio, with the championship match of the 1985 Maxim Women's International Bowling Congress Queens Tournament after this. Sure, Lanes and Merlin. All right, this is it. championship match of the 1985 Maxim Women's International Bowling Congress Queens Tournament. On the same lane, where over 40,000 women will have bowled by the end of the Women's International Bowling Congress National Championship, which is open to every league bowler, every league woman bowler in America. And, Jeannie, I find out that there are just under 4 million of them. That's a heck of a force.
That's right,
wow,
Dwayne, we're
women
growing.
love this sport. And now Alita Sill, first delivery of the championship match, and striking to start.
She's getting locked in. When she made that ball change, that also gave her a lot more confidence, Dwayne. She's bowling very well.
Boy, doesn't she look more animated now? You see her, she turned around, had a word with Dave Sill, her husband, whom she married just a few days after winning this championship 2 years ago when she beat Dana Miller. Now, our first look at the woman from Iowa. She left the fence. Linda Graham surprised everyone by dominating the field by beating Alita Sill in the final position round match last night to secure the tournament leader position for this championship.
I have a feeling here experience might override, but Linda's made a ball change. Good cover.
She had used an old rubber ball for much of her victory over Alita last night.
Right, and before that she was using a urethane bowling ball, which she is now using now. When she was warming up in practice, she was using a plastic. I talked to her briefly last night. There's been 3 types of balls she's used through the tournament: a plastic, a rubber ball, and a urethane. And she's using the urethane at the present time.
The tournament leader here in the championship match, out of Des Moines, Iowa, 34 years old, single, leading the 2-5. Now, she had bowled in only one pro tournament previously as a guest bowler in 1980 and did make some money. She said she was the last person to cash. She works for Better Homes and Gardens magazine in Iowa in the statistics department of that fine publication.
She left herself a couple tough spares to begin with, but converted them.
She has survived the first 2 frames, which could be critical. I mean, she hasn't really made any bad errors here in her first national television exposure. Now Alita's on a strike. You see that she had that 2-11 game to beat Shinobu Saito. 2-11 to 197.
That was a great shot. She's really starting to trust that ball. She's getting her hand through the ball. She's got good leverage. She looks pretty confident.
Saito finished 3rd and made 7,000 American dollars. That'll make the trip home to Japan a little better.
Just a little better.
Pat Costello finished 4th, $5,000. Jeanette Adams 5th, $3,500. And here's Alita Sill on a double. 3rd frame, with her grandparents and her husband watching. The 7-pin.
Pretty good shot on Alita's part. She lost a little bit of leverage there, which caused her hand to come down on the shot. She didn't stay quite behind the ball like she intended to do, and that's the reason why she left the 7.
Whereas my partner, Jeannie Maiden, has bowled 9 sanctioned career 300s. Alita Sill, at the age of 22, has 4 300 games, tournament and league, and there you see the spare in the 3rd frame. So Sill is 49 through the 2nd and a spare in the 3rd. Graham, 18 in the 1st, spare in the 2nd. All right, the right-hander from Des Moines, Iowa. Her first chance at national stardom. What an upset it would be if she won this tournament.
That was a good shot. She took her time on that shot. She got her ball. Her ball placement that time was excellent, and the other 2 times she got the ball down too quick. Watch her hand stay right behind the ball and go through it. That was a great shot. Right up 11. That was a good shot.
She scored an early match play victory over tour veteran Lori Nichols, which contributed to Nichols not being here for these finals.
Right.
Leaving the 2-5, we might point out that Lori Nichols went on later in a match and bowled just shy of 1,000, averaging 245 for the 5th highest 4-game block in Queens history. Before in the next match, she lost and was eliminated. Boy, what you women go through in this tournament. You can't get too high or too low.
That's right. It's a crapshoot, and it's also the luck of the draw, who you bowl. You know, you could bowl great.
Whoa! Just nudging that middle pin.
Right.
The 5. So Graham is 58 in the 3rd and a spare in the 4th. Sill 49 in the 2nd, spare in the 3rd. Let's take another look.
Okay, she got that a little bit inside her target too. Plus the lanes over there are pretty dry, so the ball is going to hook finish quite.
All right, coming off the 3rd frame spare in the 4th for Alita Sill, who has her confidence in high gear right now. And I know from watching this woman, Jeannie, and you know from playing against her, that once she senses victory, once she feels that victory is at hand, watch out, because she really can take after a championship.
She also has a good mental game also. She's keeps herself at one level.
The man in the yellow tie is Mr. Robin Austin from Marketing Corporation of America, representing Maxim Coffee.
Oh, she almost left the pack 10 there. Alita's bowling very well.
So Alita Sill has boomed out to a lead of 21 pins, and here is a double.
All right. She doesn't show much emotion, and that's the way you have to approach going into TV and match play. It was a great shot. She's bowling extremely well.
And Graham on a spare here in the 5th. Keeping in the match with that solid hit. And so Graham, after noticeably being nervous early, but still coming up with a couple of spares, converting a very challenging 1-2-4-7 spare in the 1st frame, then another spare in the 2nd, then now she's struck Jeannie twice in the last 3 frames.
Mm-hmm. She just has to get herself a little bit better lined up on lane 25. This has been a very difficult pair for the right-handers this tournament.
Trying for a double here in the 6th frame, trailing by 21 pins. And light the 2, 4, 5, 7, 8.
Right, she got that ball down a little too quick in her approach. I feel that she didn't take as much time. She has to take a little more time on the left lane to get the full shot in. She's not executing as well as she is on 26.
Fortunately, Linda Graham was on a strike, so that 5-pin count does not take away from her lead, which remains 21 pins. If she can pick up the spare, which she does.
Right. That spare haunts a lot of bowlers this tournament. It's not an easy spare for the right-handers to shoot in this house.
Another look at that 2, 4, 5, 7, 8 conversion.
Don't think she really intended to play it that way, but she covered it, and I think she'll take the spare.
Now Alita Sill on a double. 69 in the 3rd. A double up. Going for a turkey. And there it is.
She got it.
You know, the crowd seems to be viewing this match as almost an anticlimax. With the tremendous emotion we've had in the first 2 or 3 matches.
Right.
Still, maybe the obvious favorite because of her tremendous experience, over $80,000 in pro winnings last year, Woman Bowler of the Year, against really an unknown who has dominated this tournament, her opponent, Linda Graham. Now Alita on 3 in a row, trying for a 4-bagger here in the 7th frame.
Great shot. She's bowling really well. She's bowling extremely well. She's bowling better today than she did yesterday against the match with Linda. Watch her extension through the shot. She really concentrates on getting her hand through the ball and trusting it. Great. Ideal shot.
Linda Graham, 7th frame on a spare. Oh, nice shot, but that 9-pin.
Nice shot. Bad break. A little high. She's executing well on the right lane.
Alita Sill is leading this woman by over 40 pins. Linda Graham's league average in Iowa, 209. Hey, listen, she didn't figure to be up here in the championship match. Just one of the many fine woman bowlers coming to the Maxim Women's International Bowling Congress Queens.
That's
and
right.
so even if she finishes second, what a great upset for her just to get this far, and what a great tournament she's had.
She even bowled well in the WIBC doubles. She's leading along with her girlfriend Melody Phillipson. They're leading the doubles, and she feels that due to that she was going to bowl well in the Queens.
Well, now she is 42 pins behind. She's at 117 in the 6th and a spare up in the 7th. Here in the 8th. The 9 pin.
She's somewhat tentative on that left lane, Dwayne, and she's not making the right moves, and it's getting late in the game. She's going to have to see if Alita's going to falter and start making, and herself making shots.
Oh, and a miss. And so Linda Graham manages a smile, maybe resigning herself to a runner-up finish, but hey, she is the only woman in this grueling competition during the match play phase who went undefeated, winning all 6 matches.
All right.
She averaged 203.5 pins per game in 6 blocks, 4 games per block, all victories. And Sill is just ripping them down. In 8 frames, she has 7 strikes. Alita 159 through the 6th. She's working on 5 in a row. Her lead is out to 64 pins over Graham, who is at 145 and open through the 8th. So this, for all intents and purposes, is over. 9th frame, going for 6 in a row. That's enough.
No, she's going to bowl. She's going to make every shot, Dwayne. She's a professional.
And she is the 1985 Queens champion. And we saw the tears stream down her face a couple of years ago when she defeated Dana Miller out in Nevada for the championship.
Right.
Last year finishing second to Kazue Inahashi of Japan. And Linda Graham with a wobbling 7-pin. She'll still make $11,000 for her runner-up finish.
Right, plus all the matches that she's won, plus, you know, they win $100 for each match that they've won. Linda Graham, I have to give her credit. She's staying out there just trying to make her shots.
Many of these top women professional bowlers will be in your area.
Second place is 11.
So plan to come out and watch them. Be watching the newspapers. We suggest to pick up the publications. Bowler's Journal magazine, the Bowling Digest, plus the fine magazine put out by the Women's International Bowling Congress, the Woman Bowler, which really covers the sport well. And the men's publication, Bowling Magazine. And you heard Helen Baker earlier, the president of the Women's International Bowling Congress. Also in attendance is Flora Mitchell, the executive director. And a Brooklyn strike in the 10th frame for Linda Graham, who now shows 165 in the 9th and a strike up in the 10th. It's too late for her, but $11,000 for second is pretty good.
She wasn't too concerned about the money. She wanted the title when I talked to her last night, but she said that she was going to give it her best shot. She's bowling against the 1984 Bowler of the Year. It's not easy. Good shot.
And the result, all 10 pins in the pit. And so she'll come up with a game in the 190s, which is quite a recovery from some difficulties she had earlier. As it turns out, she only had 1 open frame, Jeannie. But when you're battling someone like Alita Sill right now, it's pretty tough to do anything against her.
Right, you're going to need another game or another 5 frames.
And wound up leaving the 245. Linda Graham shot a creditable 192. And now our final look in the 10th frame at our champion Alita Sill with 8 strikes in 9 frames. Here she goes for 7 in a row.
I think she's pretty happy with that shot.
Jeannie, she becomes the 5th player in the history of this great competition to win this at least twice. Millie Martorella of Rochester, New York, the only woman to win it 3 times. The other 2-time winners, Dottie Fothergill, Donna Adamic, and Katsuko Sugimoto of Tokyo. What a tremendous performance! She is up to 249, and with another strike, would shoot 279. That would be 11 strikes. Now, I believe she left a 7-pin in the 3rd frame?
Right, she didn't.
And a good hit.
Not a bad hit at all, Dwayne.
So we came so close to perfection in this championship match. And another strike! And a standing ovation for the 1985 Maxim Women's International Bowling Congress Queens champion, the embrace from Helen Baker. 11 strikes in 12 opportunities.
She bowled great, Dwayne. Shot 279.
Just amazing. 11 strikes, and there you see Steve Zook, her grandfather, with an embrace. And Dave Sill, she gives Dave much credit. They've been married for 2 years. He is excellent with bowling equipment, and she has been known to say, Dwayne, Dave has more confidence in my game than I do. The cameramen surround her. The nation's bowling press are here.
Right.
And we'll be back. We'll be back with our presentation, which is a traditional ceremony here. And here is the final strike of her remarkable 279 championship game performance. And in this 22-year-old woman's career, this is her shining moment. It has to be.
Oh, it has to be. And I talked to Dave right before they went on, and Dave assured me that she was going out there with the right equipment.
279 to 192. Alita Sill, the champion. The presentation next. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it was the largest score ever bowled in the history of the televised finals of the Queens. And here's the woman who did it with a 279 to 192 victory over Linda Graham for the 2nd time in 3 years. The Queens champion, Alita Sill.
Well, I just feel really good, and I'm just glad that the crowds here have been good all week, and I think that it's just great to be here in Toledo.
You had a question for Alita, I believe, Jeannie?
Yes, Alita, in the 2nd game, in the 3rd frame, you made a ball change after you left the 7-9 in the pocket. Did that give you, and you moved outside a little bit further with another urethane ball. Did you gain confidence from that?
Yes, I think I did, because the ball that I used, it didn't hook quite enough, and then I changed to a ball that hooked a little bit more, and I also could move a little bit farther left, and it was just, my carry was tremendous, and I had just great carry out there.
Well, you're a great champion as always, my friend. And now let's bring in the president of the Women's International Bowling Congress for the traditional crowning of the Queen, Helen Baker.
Again, very, very pleased to do this for a 2nd time, Alita. I'm going to do this especially designed charm for our 25th anniversary for our Queens tournament, and we will be giving a similar one in future years. But, Alita, you're the first one ever to win that particular one.
Ah, the tiara. She's got a couple of those now, Helen.
Yes, well, she's a worthy queen, I'll tell you. It's good that she has some.
She certainly is. And now,
Thank you.
representing our good friends at General Foods and Maxim Coffee, let's bring in Jim Hansen. Maxim with a big part of this competition for 1985.
Maxim is very pleased with how the Queens tournament went and proud to be a sponsor of it. Alita, we have a jar filled with 200 Susan B. Anthony dollars, plus the balance of your prize of $19,800. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'd just like to say thank you very much to Maxim Coffee for sponsoring this tournament. It's been a great tournament all week, and we couldn't have done it without them, the WIBC, and the people here. Thank you.
And you'll be back to defend, I'm sure, in Anaheim, California in 1986.
Yes, I will.
Boy, you'll be going for 3 titles in 4 years. What a prospect.
Well, we'll have to wait to see.
Well, I know husband Dave will be working with you as he has the past couple of seasons, and what a great job he's done with you.
Oh, he's just the greatest. I'm just the luckiest woman here because he's just the greatest coach. He's just the greatest husband. He's the greatest everything.
How about that, Jenny?
Alita, doesn't he get the check? Don't you give the husband the check? I mean, everybody else does.
No, this one's mine.
And so with that, we wind up our telecast before a full house here at famed Imperial Lanes in Toledo, Ohio. Alita Sill, with a 279 game, wins the Maxim Women's International Bowling Congress Queens. Till next time, till the Queens rolls around again in 1986, Dwayne Dow for Jeannie Maiden. So long, everybody.